Defense Secretary Williamson on verge of winning first battle over spending review. Gavin Williamson, 41, along with a cross-party group of backbench MPs, has argued that any further cuts to the Army or Royal Navy would prove to be disastrous to Britain's military might. Prime Minister Theresa May is expected to order a national security and defense review to be split in two, the security element proceeding as planned but the defense section put back by months. Although no final decision has been made on the proposal, the Telegraph claims it was discussed at a meeting shortly before Christmas which was attended by Mrs May as well as senior ministers. The delay in launching the defense review will give Mr Williamson more time to fight the corner of the defense forces. There has been talk of diverting some funds from the military to intelligence and cybersecurity. Since taking over from Sir Michael Fallon in November, Mr Williamson has fought on behalf of the armed forces and engaged in a row with the Chancellor Philip Hammond over spending. Mr Williamson has already banned Mr Hammond from using RAF aircraft until he has paid his bills for previous flights. It was claimed last month that Mr Hammond had told Mrs May the Army only needed 50,000 soldiers, 28,000 fewer than it currently has. However, Mr Williamson is believed to have convinced Mrs May that he needs more time to get to grips with the defence budget. While the UK meets NATO's target of spending 2% of national income on defence, the Ministry of Defence faces a massive shortfall of £20–30 billion in its budget over the next decade if it wants to meet its commitments to build new warships, aircraft, submarines and vehicles. The fall in the value of the pound after Brexit, the rising cost of equipment and an inability to find savings by cutting civilian staff have all been blamed for the budget black hole. When a strategic defense and security review was carried out in 2015, the MOD said it would cut its civilian personnel from 56,860 to 41,000 by 2020, but figures released earlier this year showed that it still had 56,690 civilian staff, meaning it had only cut 170 posts, rather than the 16,000 it had promised. The MOD has said it remains committed to reducing civilian numbers by 30% in the next 2 years, and fulfilling that promise will be one of Mr Williamson's most urgent tasks. During a recent visit to Iraq, Mr Williamson said that Britain would not stop in its aim of destroying the evil and barbaric Islamic State. He said, "The dangers we face are changing and are intensifying rapidly. Eliminating the threat from terrorism is critical to our security at home and abroad. Our brave armed forces are working tirelessly, day and night, to defeat Daesh after helping to recover significant territory in Iraq. Only by defeating this evil and barbaric group for good will we reduce the deadly threat they pose to us, which is why we won't stop until their global network is destroyed."